Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining me once again for Get Your Money Right with Yvonne. I'm Yvonne. Listen, before we take another step further, I want to thank you guys so much because this is the 75th episode of Get Your Money Right with Yvonne, and that makes it our diamond anniversary. So, thank you for sticking with us. And if you were looking for the spot to talk about saving money for retirement, you are indeed in the correct place. And we'll tell you at the end if you'd like to join this very supportive community. Don't worry about it now. As I said, we'll talk about it at the end. Just enjoy this episode, okay? So before we do anything else, I just want to ask you, we start this the same way. How are you doing? How's it going? How are you faring? And I always want to do that because I need you all to know there is somebody out there who's wishing the best for you, thinking of you, wishing for your success, all of that. And I know everybody is busy. And so sometimes we just forget to say to the person, right next to us, right in front of us, how are you doing? So I just always want to do that. If there's anything you want to share with us, feel free to do so. Safe place. Your names will never be used. Just, want you to know we are thinking of you, okay? So, how is it going with me? No problems. Although I'm just going to kind of tack on from our last discussion. I was just talking about, shopping and buying things that seem to spoil really quickly. And that is a drain on our finances. We buy things and we need them to last a little bit. And so some of the things that I was purchasing, some fruit and veggies that used to last a week and a half to 2 weeks, now they'll make it 3 days. And then you got to pitch them because I'll open up the grapes and you can't even pick around that fungus that's coming out through the middle. There was that, and then the broccoli was just all wet and slimy. It's like, no, we're not doing this. So I've got to see about some other choices. But the other thing, so when I leave my massage therapist and I visit one every 2 weeks, that is my jam. It keeps me grounded and just takes care of me. So when I leave his studio, I'll pass by a grocery store on the way to the entrance to the freeway home. And I love oatmeal raisin cookies. Always have, always will. I love chocolate chip. Don't get me wrong, love it. But oatmeal raisin, love it. Absolutely do. So the cookies, 12 of them were $5.99. And what I would always do, because if you got the pack with 24 in it, it was $8.99. So I could get some cookies out and throw the rest of them in the freezer, and they will last me for months. So I did this a couple of weeks ago, and first it was the last package, and I like to pick my own, but that's what was there, so I took it, and I'm looking, and I'm like, ooh, one's broken. Yeah, whatever, broken. It's still, you could still eat it, obviously. So I open up the container, and I pull a cookie out, and I'm like, wait, what? It was so thin. When I bite into an oatmeal raisin cookie, you have that ooey, gooey, crunchy goodness to it. This one was flat because it was so squished together that, wow, there was no ooey gooey, it was just crunchy. So that kind of annoyed me. The only reason I get this cookie is for the enjoyment of it. And if that's been taken away, well, that may be another thing that comes off my list, and I got to find another way, another cost-effective way to buy those cookies, because that $8.99 for 24 that are so thin that I couldn't even stick those in the freezer because they were so thin. If you tried to pull them apart, they'd crumble on you. So no, that's my last time buying those. Just, I'm done. That is just life, right? Yeah, well, retailers think they're forcing us into paying for, okay, I'm just going to say their crap. No, no. We just make other selections. We have other options out there for us. So that's what I'm going to be looking into. Hmm. So, what would I like to talk to you about today? Kind of, there's different pieces of it, but let's just start here. So, my youngest sister, she asked one time, because I was talking about retirement and having enough money available for my expenses and have a good life in retirement. And she said, "Are you banking on Social Security?" And the question kind of took me back, right? But just keep in mind, we are all in different areas. I don't know. We're in different boxes. We're looking at life differently. And my take at life, and it's not going to be everybody's, obviously, but when, 40 years ago, promises were made to me, right? That Social Security was going to be there for me. It was never meant to take care of all of your needs, but it's a nice supplement on a monthly basis, right? The other thing is my pension. It's not huge by any stretch of the imagination, but it is good to have. So those things, two things together, is a nice amount. Yes, it's not going to be enough. But as I said, promises were made to me 40 years ago. So of course, I'm looking at those items as a source of income. Why wouldn't I? It was promised to me. And my sister came up when pensions were no longer available, and she was a little bit skeptical about Social Security. So she, from the jump, was funding her retirement account. And that's great. That's exactly what we should be doing. But just keep in mind, not everybody is in that same space. So we just have to give grace to one another. We're looking at life differently. And it's nice to have a conversation rather than just saying, okay, you're wrong, you're right, whatever. Let's just talk and we'll understand where one another is coming from. So I was well into my 40s when I woke up and go, wait a minute, I have these two sources of income. Great. I know not everybody has all of that, but I do. But it's not going to be enough. So, well into my 40s, then I start to fund a 401k. So that's where I am now. Glad that I'm doing it and just doing what I can. And keep in mind, did you hear me say that? In my 40s. So anybody in their 30s and 40s needs to heed this call. I mean, we all do, don't get me wrong, but you folks in that age range, it's kind of like at a make or break point for you, because the idea is to save what you can as quickly as you can so that you have choices on when to retire. Now, we'll get to all of that in just a moment. But, people will ask me, Yvonne, how much should I be putting in my retirement account? That's going to be different for all of us. But I would say that if you really want to put a toe in the water and figure this out, start with 5%. It's not going to be enough just at the 5%, but get started. Once you see what that looks like to save not only for tomorrow, but to live your life today. Because remember, two worlds you're straddling, and you don't want to save so much that your life now is too much of a struggle. No, we don't want that for you. We want you to enjoy, because this is your only go around the sun, right? And take care of yourself and enjoy it. So start with that 5%. Now, at some point, you're going to have to crank it up just a little bit. Get yourself up to 10, and now we're getting somewhere. Keep an eye on it. Use artificial intelligence to talk you through where you are right now and where you need to be, because we deserve a dignified retirement. We all of us do. You don't have to be a high earner to have a retirement account. and to be able to retire comfortably. You don't have to be a high earner. What you have to do is you have to get started, and you have to do it consistently and not I hate using the word ever, but don't use that account as a piggy bank. You can make other choices and, talk to this community about your circumstance, just to kind of see what everybody else is thinking and what we can help you with. So again, don't use that retirement account as a piggy bank. Leave it alone. Let it grow. Let it compound. Let it work for you, and let it take care of you during your retirement years. So please take care of those things now. Don't wait. Get it started, because the more you wait, the more you're going to put it off to the side. And you can't do that. You just can't. You have to take care of yourselves. And the other thing is, I was thinking about the polls that came out asking what people thought, different age ranges, what was a good time to retire. And the overwhelming age was 62, which we've discussed that before. There's a couple of problems with 62, okay? Yes, you are eligible for an early access to your Social Security, but keep in mind, if you take it at 62, it's only going to be about, if I remember correctly, 70% is what you would be getting. So you're losing 30% by taking it early. So that's the one problem. Then the second problem is, since you're not 65 years of age, you can't do Medicare. So you retired at 62, you're getting, that money, which that's nice. It's not what you could get, but it is what you will get. And now you have to find private insurance. And that's not cheap. It's not cheap when you're working. So once you quit, you're just kind of in a difficult spot. Let's just put it that way. So those are the things to think about. 62, less money, more expenses. And just keep that in mind, those of you in your 30s and 40s, because that could be you in 20 to 30 years. So I just want you to do whatever you can to take care of yourselves now. I told you before, I remember being a 15-year-old smart mouth who told my 40-year-old cousins, they didn't understand life, that they were old, but whatever I said was stupid. I was a child, and just, come on, wake up. But just, you're looking down the road and you're thinking you understand what's coming up, but maybe you don't. Maybe you need to take a step back, ask some questions, think it through, and see what you can do to take care of you, right? That's what we want you to do. Take care of yourself. I started doing these because nobody ever spoke my language in the money management realm. They all seem to come at me from a place where I was making well over $100,000 and could do things to prepare for retirement. Well, my whole career, I've made less than $100,000, and I still deserve a dignified retirement, as do all of you. So we just need to do what we can. We have to take steps, and nobody really talks to us about what those steps may be. So, come on, let's talk about it. I am not a money manager, just a graduate of the School of Hard Knocks. And what I've learned is what I just want to share with you and just kind of get your take. This is give and take. I'm not talking at you. I'm just talking to you, and I'd love to hear back from you. Okay? So we're going to get ready. Think about winding this up. But at the very beginning, I mentioned, if you are not currently a member of this group, we would love to have you. It is completely and totally free. I do these just to share, just, to have that source of information I didn't have when I was coming up. So just sharing. So completely and totally free. So when I produce these episodes, they will come straight to your email box so you can watch them You can share them with somebody because you know somebody who's either struggling or could use this information to help them. And so by all means share it. That's it's meant to do that, and that you can save them. So where you see down there subscribe, please just click that and follow the links. We'd just love to have you. Okay, now with that, we're going to get ready to wind this up because we like to keep these in the 15-minute range if we can. But please be good to yourselves. You deserve it. Take care of you. Take care of others. Take care of those around you. Friends, family, co-workers. We are all that we have. And a kind word, a nice gesture, it helps people. So just keep that in mind. Just take care of us, okay? So until next time, thank you again for joining me on Get Your Money Right with Yvonne. Spit it out. I'm Yvonne. And until next time, you take care, alrighty? Bye.